Warning, F-bombs are armed and might be dropped. Alright, so this is a long overdue video on the basic workings of brass knuckles. What we have here is 3 different types. This is a basic set of brass knuckles, and this is the one we will be using for most of the presentation. These 2 are specialty. This one is a trench knife variant. This particular variant, as you can see, is spiked on the leading edge of 3 of the fingers. The index finger is rounded and there's no skull breaker. But other than that, this really is a standard version. Troops from World War I and World War II would quickly, like that, recognize the value. This is not particularly exciting. Now, if this one looks vaguely familiar, it's because it is one of my own personal knives. And this is actually the one for my my custom holster. Nothing really exciting here. We're going to set this off to the side. This one is a little unusual. This is actually a folding trench knife. And if this one looks familiar, it should. This is also one of my personal knives. This is the original night rig knife. The way I would wear it at night, in addition to the straps, which you'll see again later. Well, actually, I would wear it in my left hand because this is my strong hand. But other than that, I would actually wear it with the blade folded away for safety. There's a few things about this I don't like. Let me see if I can get it in the camera view. I think it might be there. That dark spot there is actual discoloration in the, I believe this is an enamel, that was caused by me cleaning it after I used it one night. The police called it justifiable, so don't give me any shit. Alright, the disadvantages of this type. First of all, there is this discoloration. It was caused by the fact that this is a little bit thinner than it could be. Also, you can just barely see indentation in my hand, caused by this piece being open. So these, or this area being open. So these 2 sides kind of dig in a little bit. That's not as comfortable as it could be. This type of knife is also legal in all 50 states. So, definitely something to consider there. Other than that, there's nothing really any more exciting about this than the other 2, so we're going to set it out of the way and move on to the basics. This is a brass knuckle. Now, these are legal in my state. Whether they are in your state or not will vary state to state, but a very common thing you will see is these are sold as paperweights because they do have weight, or as is the case in this one, you'll see a little hole right here. Now again, I said these are legal in my state, and you shouldn't, well, maybe you can, but you can't really, or shouldn't really be able to tell in this video, but these threads are messed up. I did that deliberately with a drill to make sure that this would never be mistaken for a belt buckle, which they're often sold as. I want to emphasize, if you're buying brass knuckles, use them as brass knuckles, call them as brass knuckles. If you're buying a belt buckle, use it as a belt buckle. This particular type does not work very well as a belt buckle and a set of brass knuckles because the belt gets in the way. It's very, very distracting. Alright, so let's go over it. First of all, what is this? It's a category of weapon called a fist loader, which basically just means it makes your fist bigger or harder or heavier. Now there is no known nomenclature for brass knuckles, so this side and this side, I refer to that as the face. Two ends I refer to as the butts. This I refer to as the edge, and this edge I refer to as the back strap. Each one of these holes I refer to as rings. This open area I refer to as the notch. And that should be all of the nomenclature. How does it work? First of all, put it in your hand, and you can see that the edge is harder than your fingers, which will protect your fingers from getting broken. But more importantly, and you don't really see this from the outside, as you're wearing it, the back strap is digging into or riding against the base of your palm. Now, those of you with martial arts training, you've been told time and time again, strike with the ball of your hand, right? And if your instructor is really tight, he will get on your case to keep your fingers back like that, or turned in just a little bit, but not turned in this far, because your knuckles, or your finger knuckles, will contact and they'll dislocate or they'll even break your fingers. With a set of brass knuckles, as the edge makes contact with the target, transfers the energy between the rings and into the back strap, which transfers it to the ball of your hand. That's where your arm is strongest, your hand is strongest, and transferring that energy to there means you're less likely to break your hand. Breaking your hand is a real thing. You can just barely tell, but my right hand was broken many years ago, right there, and just touching it, setting off a psychosomatic pain. I also do know when the weather's about to change, because it's not psychosomatic then. It's a real throbbing right in this area. This would have prevented my hand from being broken. Now, the optics of brass knuckles is horrible. But if what you had was brass knuckles and what the other guy had was another type of weapon, you're probably going to walk away from it, as far as the judge is concerned, with a very hard slap on the wrist, if your actions were otherwise justified. If your actions were not otherwise justified, this will get you in really, really serious trouble. Okay, let's set that one off to the side for a second, because this is my personal one. The silver one here actually belongs to a friend. Remember, I said your actions are otherwise justified, which means self-defense. This is my personal one, and this one only leaves my own rack, really. I have a nice little notch in the overhead that I put this in for presentation or display purposes. I don't display this to everybody, right? There's, I think, 5 people on Earth that have actually laid their own eyes on this. This strap on the back, this is actually a 3rd or 4th replacement in a year. Keeps it on my wrist. These 2 cords, the bridle, keeps it up on my fingers, and this is how I sleep. Actually, it's more like this, but the point remains. I can sleep with this on, and I know that if I reach out, somebody wakes me up in the middle of the night, and I don't need to kill them, this is not going to do it. Might hurt them very badly, but I'm not going to kill them. That's one of the advantages of brass knuckles. You can kill somebody with these, but you got to be trying. A gun, you're probably going to, at very least, seriously injure them. this, you're going to give them a lot of pain and something to think about, but they're not going to die unless you're really, really trying. That actually makes this one of the most perfect self-defense weapons. Its range is literally reach. As far as you can reach out, this one, I mean, you get an extra quarter of an inch. Who cares? That's it. Pepper spray still has range. Pepper balls have range. Even a stick, a large stick, a small stick, a medium-sized stick, has some degree of range, but this effectively does not. The other guy has a stick and you have one of these. He has you out-armed, but at least you have something. Now, me being mandatory carry, I do not believe these should be banned in any state. Some states have unusually interpretive laws. Texas just legalized these, but until they were legalized earlier this year, I believe it was, you could have wood knuckles. You could have plastic knuckles. As a matter of fact, plastic knuckles remain legal in all 50 states, and as observed earlier, this is legal in all 50 states, and this is legal in all 50 states. This is not. I didn't say it made sense. I said that's the law in all 50 states. If you're asleep, at home asleep, even in a state where this is illegal, somebody is breaking into your home and you hit them with this, chances are very, very small that you'll be in that much trouble. They broke into your home, not the other way around. You break into somebody else's home wearing a set of these, guaranteed you're going to be in a whole lot more trouble than if you just broke in, or if you met them in the street wearing these. Very strong advice. If you have these, especially in one of those states where they're not legal, keep them at home. Use them at night. This rig here is quick and easy to put together. It's just a Velcro strap and some blind cord off an old blind. Keep calm and mandatory carry on.